Hello, people of Earth. Welcome back to the newest episode of the New Life Podcast. We have been away for a little while, and that's because, we've been working on the foundation of our own well-being so that we can come back and share the most light possible for you guys. And thank you to this guest on this episode, our friend Andrew Monge. We're back and better than ever with some motivation from him. So he had me on his podcast, the Always Moving podcast that he just started, and it was a good interview for me. If you want to check that out, you can check out his page in the link in the description. But this one is all about Andrew, and we're touching on many different things that have to do with productivity and just finding awareness within our own beings. So, it's a deep topic, but it's also very simple. You're here for a reason, whatever that reason may be. We're here to learn potentially, but also just absorb and find new awarenesses, new perspectives that help us in our daily life, help us with our happiness, our fulfillment. Andrew is a man of many talents and many values, and essentially he's niched his way into productivity coaching. And he's going to get into all of that and what that means. But I just wanted to give this little intro to let you guys know that we are back. We are grateful to have you. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Here is Andrew Monge.
I realized the potential of being consistent with your routines really helps, with growth overall, whether it's mental, physical, financial, spiritual. And I developed a pretty cool system that's easy and fun for me to be consistent. And now I'm just sharing that with other people and enjoying the motivation and the energy from everyone making moves.
I love that. All about that productivity and just leading by example. You know what I mean?
That's big right there. Leading by example. Yes. This has been a great challenge because this is unscripted, so this is going to be as authentic as possible. So I'm glad that you're allowing me to share like this. And as far as for my podcast, it's called Always Moving Podcast, because I remember in fitness, I learned that even when our body is still, when it's idle, it's always moving.
100%.
We
just talked about vibration.
Yes.
And everything's moving.
Yeah.
And something I've been touching on in my yoga classes is be still for a moment, whatever pose you're in, and observe how the breath is moving your body, to a very high degree. To you're constantly moving. So
yeah. And then plus, for a little humble brag, AM, Always Moving, Andrew Monge.
Wow. And AM, because you be getting up early.
Yeah, I'm a morning person. I'm definitely a morning person.
Why is that?
I read this book years ago that's called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And this was in the process of me learning about personal development and learning about my potential and learning about what it is to tap into that potential. And you can get so much done in the morning time, undistracted time. You feel like you already are ahead of the game. And that book really instilled that discipline of getting up early.
Yeah. And
it's been 6-7 years I've been waking up at 4:45.
Yeah. The book was just a trigger to show you the power of doing it. And then you experienced that for yourself after it gave you that motivation and it helped you learn that. It's something I definitely believe is to be successful in terms of growth, but also fulfillment and actual happiness is learning how to be a morning person.
Yeah.
I think that really helps people change their lives in a way and really helps them find more excitement for life. It's cool to get up right as the sun's rising or even before, and the stillness that you feel from the earth, and it's nice to feel that quiet for yourself. That's a great time to meditate or work on yourself. And like we touched on in our last conversation is you need to tune your own body and you need to serve yourself before you could ever help anyone else. So to use the morning for that and to embrace actually things that you're passionate about, right? It's a great time to do that.
Yeah.
It's a great time to learn how to do that.
And something else to add value onto that is that when we first wake up, our most highest natural energy is as soon as we wake up. Man, I just see the benefit. And since I've seen the benefit, why not continue with that momentum? And morning time is different for everyone. Like a morning time for me is 4:45, but the same productive person can be waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, can be waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's just like you're saying, that vibration, figuring out when your flow is, and then stay consistent with that time.
100%. And a lot of people do find that at nighttime they have a good flow of productivity, and that's great. It's just learning about what is best for you and not sleeping the day away. This concept of self-development, you know, that's kind of why we're here and why we're having these conversations, and the reason we are who we are. So tell me a little bit about your journey with discovering what self-development is and what tools you use to amplify that.
Yeah. I can recall, I have a funny story. I was working at T-Mobile. I was a salesman. I was probably 23 years old. And I was at Quaker Bridge Mall. You know, it used to be popping back then.
It did.
Yeah.
Low key.
And I recall that I was making about $1,000 a month in commission. Now, 10 years ago, that was pretty good money.
Yeah.
And I had a regional manager that would come to the kiosk like every quarter and just like, you know, observe, see what we've been doing, making sure that we're selling cell phones. And this guy, Lance, never forget him, had to be the most positive person ever in life. I've never.
How old were you?
23.
Okay.
I've never met someone so positive before.
Like, good outlook on everything.
I don't know if he forced it, I don't know, but he was just always smiling and always had something good to say. And I recall one time I just finished a transaction with a customer, and he comes up to me. He says, "Andrew, you're a good person, but you suck at sales." I'm like, what?
You're so nice.
But
also being that type of person is saying what's up, you know?
Exactly. So I recall, you know, he gave me this kind of tip. He was like, listen, again, you're a good person, but you suck at sales. I have people in other stores making me $5,000, $10,000 in commission a month selling cell phones. So again, you're a nice person, but you suck at sales. He recommended me to read this book that's called How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success by Frank Betchard. Now, out of high school, out of college, who really reads for fun?
You do now.
Well, now I do, yeah.
Huh.
But it was a challenge for me. I was never really like a student, you know? I kind of just passed because I was good at soccer. And you know, but he told me to go read this book, and at the time it was a $15 book, and I was making $1,000 in commission. I told myself I can buy this book to show him and shut him up. That's how I thought. And I did. He told me to read it. I didn't read it. It wasn't until the following month where my commission went from $1,000 to $800. Now my lifestyle changed, because I'm missing that $200. So some sense of urgency clicked in here, the awareness that I didn't know that meant awareness, but just something clicked in my mind, said something needs to change so I don't have another bad month. All right, so I read the book. But again, I'm not used to reading. So what I did was I kept it very simple. I just read 3 pages a day.
And that worked.
And it worked. And what happened was, in that book, it started talking about stuff that was happening in real life when I was selling to customers. I was like, let me just apply this. It took me like a month to read. It was a challenge, but I read it, and I started applying it. And the following month commission went from $800 to $3,000. Now I was hooked on reading.
This guy's good. Told you to read it.
Yeah, he told me to read it. Yeah. So now at that point, I'm connecting reading with making money. So that to me was my first experience with personal development.
It's very interesting. And how did that lead you to business? Elaborate on the business for me.
So this kind of happened randomly. I am passionate about sales. I like sales, marketing, advertising.
I just want to touch real quick that life is sales.
Yes.
Sales is who you are and how you attain things. So
To kind of make it even a stronger connection, think of sales as communication. And there's a big difference between conversation and communication. Because communication, you get some type of,
that's deep.
Output. You get some type of results. So I was passionate about sales. I got you, right? I got you.
Yeah, that helps you reflect on like what types of those are you having with who.
Yeah. When I first started, I wanted to teach people how to become better salespeople, but mostly like in the retail space, because that's what I did. I did, retail, B2B, B2C, phones, door to door. So like, I
did all the different versions.
I did all the different versions.
Social media.
Exactly. So, I wanted to teach people how to just get that better bond, build better rapport with people so that they can get the outcome that they want. The challenge is that I was forcing it. I was trying to get people who weren't really into it to try and invest into me to get a course, get a teaching, and it didn't work. And what I noticed was I got away from taking care of me. And I started realizing like my fitness results were going away. My energy was kind of low. So I was like, you know what? Let me just get back to myself.
That's where all the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens. But the difference was I shared it online. So now people were seeing how positive I was, how consistent I was, how productive I was. I still had a social life. I was still reading books. I was still working out.
Human. And I need to ask you something.
Yes.
How did you feel at first? Did you feel vulnerable at all doing that?
Yeah.
Did you doubt it at all?
I didn't know what vulnerability or doubt was at the time, because I was just putting it out there so that I can hold myself accountable.
So you did it for personal accountability and discipline, perhaps?
Yeah.
And it was just new. So it was still new. So you weren't like, you didn't have that judgment about what it was and that influencing you on doing it, which is nice. It just makes me think, whether you realize it or not, you were in a vulnerable state.
Yes.
Anytime you share who you are and you're actually pure about it, you're vulnerable. And, it just leads me to a quote, which is just, it shows you to embrace that stuff. And it's vulnerability is your way of connecting with the world.
Yeah.
And like, that's literally the way. That connection is what brings you anything. It's that stuff that sales is all about. Connection and bartering and translating, transforming energy to each other. Not just through money, but through being. So
absolutely,
very interesting stuff. So you started doing this and showing who you were on line.
And I was liking the results I was getting. I was happy. And then what naturally flowed was actually 2 people reached out to me in the DMs asking, "Hey Monge, how are you doing all this stuff? Can you show me? Can you teach me?" And I said, "Absolutely. You just got to pay me." Because one of my favorite quotes is from The Dark Knight, the Joker, when he said, "When you're good at something, never do it for free."
Yeah.
And that's where it all started.
It's all about transmitting value and helping people who you mend with to grow.
Yeah.
So, but it turned into something where you could charge an actual price for it, and that's that's super cool.
And the blessing after all of this, to kind of touch point on what you're saying, that is not just about the financial side, is the people that I work with, we get real, we get vulnerable. And there's a lot of topics that we share within each other that just we let go, and we tap into our like conscious mind, our unconscious mind, and our subconscious mind, and we become like lifelong friends.
Yeah, it's true connection.
It's true connection. So through productivity, through coaching, through listening, through challenging people, through holding people accountable, I've gotten so much knowledge, love, joy from people that I just want to keep that going.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot, and that, leads us into persistence and overcoming doubt, even if you don't know it was doubt, but leading your life in that direction. What helps you stay persistent in that, and what made you choose that, and why do you feel like this is where you are,
Yeah, great question. I would say that it first starts off with people's testimonials, showing that it works for them and their excitement, and they're sharing positive feedback with me. And for me, one of my biggest love languages is words of affirmation. So I almost get this on a daily with people, with friends, with clients, and they're the reasons why I stay persistent, because it's the same rituals that I'm doing for myself.
And you're seeing the reward.
And I'm seeing the rewards. Yes.
It brings you fulfillment.
Oh my gosh.
'Cause that's what life's all about, right?
Yeah.
Exchanging that energy and, giving a gift. When you become of age, giving a gift is better than receiving a gift.
Yeah.
And if you really actually put time into that gift and thought about it, and you were like, or just stumbled upon something, you were like, they're going to love this. And you're like, I have to buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's just them.
Yeah.
It's like, those types of gifts are like the best.
And then,
especially if it's about developing self, because that's the way to connect to everything.
That longevity. Yeah. And to add to that, also, one of my favorite quotes is, success unshared is failure.
Yeah, and I've been living this. In terms of I am a teacher in so many different aspects, and I did that on purpose because I was like, this is the best way I'm going to learn it, and this is what helps me in life to not to be actually enjoying life. We all go through times, and childhood can be rough for real because you didn't choose it, and you don't choose where you go to school and all this stuff, and it's like, you find these things that work for you to bring enjoyment, to bring pleasure, and the best things that bring you pleasure are the things that were uncomfortable or challenging at first.
Yes.
Not easy pleasure, real dopamine, not fake dopamine. If people are interested in learning more about you and what you offer, where do they go?
The best place to reach out to me is on Instagram. You could send a DM. My Instagram is Andrew Monge _. So ANDREWMONGE _. But I have a surprise for you. If you click the link in the bio and book a call with me, that would be the best way to just get undivided attention, no distractions, and just actually get a nice conversation going to see how we can become more productive.
Very cool. Very cool. That'll be in the description. And it was nice getting back on the mic with my friend Andrew here. So I just wanted to thank you guys for being a part of that and listening. And we'll be back soon. Peace out.